in a minute. From Hollywood, the Jack Benny Program.
Well, Roy, I must admit, I don't either tonight. Mr. Benny just wasn't funny. Of course I work for him. But after all, when the floors are dirty, he doesn't tell me they're clean. Mr. Benny and I are always honest with each other. I'm sorry, Roy, but Mr. Benny just didn't have it tonight. Okay, Roy, I'll talk to you later. You're home kind of early.
Yeah, when I got through, I didn't feel like hanging around the studio, so I came home. By the way, what'd you think of my show tonight?
Sensational, boss. Sensational.
You know, Rochester, coming from someone else, it wouldn't mean much. But I know that you always give me an honest opinion. By the way, any messages for me?
Oh, I'm done this pet.
Let's see. Dr. Johnson. I don't think I know Dr. Johnson. Look, the one who treated for the flu was Dr. Allen. And then for my sinus, I had Dr. Miller. And then the time my knee went out of joint, I had Dr. Smith. Wait a minute. Who took out my appendix?
I did.
Yeah, that's when my knee went out of joint. Johnson, are you sure you got the name right?
That's what he said. And I think it's important because he called 3 times.
Well, I better call him then. Dr. Johnson, isn't it funny? I don't know a doctor. Hate to call this late, but that's what he wants.
Hello?
Oh, hello. Is this Dr. Johnson's office?
Yes, this is Dr. Johnson speaking.
Oh, well, I got a message to call you. This is Jack Benny.
Oh, Mr. Benny, I'm delighted to hear from you. Could you come right over to my office?
Well, Doctor, what's it all about?
I'd prefer not to discuss it over the phone. I'm in the Beverly Medical Building.
Well, if it's that urgent, I'll be right over. All right. Gee, I can't imagine what it could be. Anyway, Rochester, I'll be back right away.
Okay.
Dr. Johnson. Isn't that funny? I don't know what it... Psychiatrist.
Oh, Mr. Benny?
Yes.
I'm Dr. Johnson. I hated to ask you over like this, but as I said, it's quite urgent.
I know, but what is it you wanted to see me about?
I have a man in the other room who's suffering from acute amnesia.
Oh, it's a shame. Can't sleep at all.
Insomnia is when you can't sleep.
Oh.
He has amnesia.
Oh, of course.
He doesn't remember who he is.
Well, what's that got to do with me?
Well, in all his mumblings, the only name he keeps mentioning is yours.
Well, I mean, it could be anybody. I have millions of fans.
From what he's been mumbling, I don't think he's a fan. Well, I hope you can identify him. I'll bring him right in.
All right.
Come in with me. No one's going to hurt you. Just walk in very slowly. That's fine. Sit down. Right here. There you are. That's a good lad. You know him?
Well, yes. That's Professor LeBlanc, my French violin teacher.
Violin teacher?
Yeah.
Oh, and that explains why he had this with him when I found him in the gutter.
Certainly. Professor LeBlanc, what are you doing here? Professor, don't you recognize me?
No.
Don't you remember me?
How can I remember you? I can't even remember me. Who am I I? What am I? Where am I?
This is pathetic, Doctor. I mean, how did it happen?
Well, Mr. Benny, when the mind suffers a traumatic experience, the brain has a way of blocking it out. So he's your violin teacher.
Well, I mean, he used to be. I mean, he gave me lessons for years.
When did he give you your first violin lesson?
Well, that's a long time ago. I would say 18 or 19, about 19 years ago. I'll never forget, I was home waiting to take my first lesson from him. Oh, Rochester!
Yes, boss?
Did you set up my violin stand?
Oh, yes, sir. Boss,
What?
why did you decide to take violin lessons again?
Well, because, Rochester, I haven't played the violin since I was at the Palladium Theater in London. And I want to get my fingers back in shape.
Why? What did they do to them?
They didn't do anything to him. Gee, I hope my new teacher turns out to be all right. Oh, that must be him now.
Monsieur Benny?
Yes.
I am Professor LeBlanc, Pierre LeBlanc.
Oh, yes. Come right in.
See.
Come right in.
My, you have a lovely home.
Thank you, Professor.
Monsieur Benny,
Yeah.
on the phone you told me that you have been playing the violin for many years and you just wanted to take a sort of a refresher course.
That's it exactly. I just want to sort of smooth out the rough spots.
Oui. You take my hat.
Oh, yes, here, oh, yeah.
Thank you very much.
There.
Well, I will be happy to give you the lessons. Shall we proceed?
Well, first, Professor LeBlanc, I think I ought to know what your fee is. I mean, what do you charge for violin lessons?
Oh, with me, music is a passion. To teach it is a great joy. So I would prefer to leave the price entirely up to you.
Good. Well, come on, I'll get my violin, and we'll...
Oh, Mr. Benny,
yeah.
before you commence, perhaps it would be well if I saw a little of your technique. Would you play something for me?
Why, certainly. What would you like to hear?
Anything you know well.
Well, supposing I play the first movement, the start of the first movement of the Mendelssohn Concerto.
Oh, oui, Mendelssohn, very good,
Yeah.
very good.
You know, ta-ta-ti-ta-ta. Right? There. How was that? Do you think you can make a good violinist out of me?
Well, I think I can do something, but it will take time. How old are you?
Why?
How much time have we got left?
Gee, I thought I played that very well. I mean, I've been playing since I was a kid.
Oh, Monsieur Benny, do you mind if I tell you something?
What?
Forget you ever took any lessons. Let us wipe this slate clean. We will start with the exercises.
Exercise? But that's for a rank beginner.
Exactly. we play the Kreutzer exercises.
Kreutzer?
Oui, the Kreutzer exercises. I
have them.
You do? Good.
I have it here. I haven't played this in a long time. It's for kids. Kreutzer exercises. All right. You want me to? I'll start from scratch. Huh?
That I am sure. Do not hold your bow too tightly. It will help you play more lightly. Play it softly, not so brassy. Pull your tongue in your nut, lassie.
So
So that day 19 years ago was the first time Professor LeBlanc gave you a violin lesson.
That's right.
From then on, week after week, he came to my house and continued to give me lessons.
No.
What, did I do something wrong, Professor?
No, perhaps it is my fault. But do you mind if I tell you something?
No, not at all.
The violin is an instrument that is like the singing of the angels, the murmur of the breeze, the rippling of the brook. Now, play.
Is that better? Is that what you mean?
Mr. Benet, perhaps if you held the violin upside down.
Upside down? I wouldn't be able to play it that way.
Let us try anything. We will go back to the exercises.
Again, the exercises?
Yes, the exercises. Play, please. Raise your wrist a little higher. Play it softly while you're learning. Not so loud, my stomach's turning. Mr. Benet, the music of the violin is supposed to soothe you, to calm you, to make you relax, to settle your nerves.
Professor!
The rippling of the brook, the singing of the angels, the murmur of the breeze. Pardon me, I lost my temper, Mr. Benet. Oh, wish it was my hearing. What? Mr. Benet, could I have some water, please?
Water? Yes, there's some in the cooler out in the hall.
That is not enough. I would like to drown myself. Proceed with the exercises, please.
Shall I start now?
We start. Bend your wrist and slide your finger. Pull the switch, don't let me linger.
Professor, I've played these exercises so much now. Can't I play my number?
We play. But, Monsieur Benet,
What?
lately you always make me come back for my money. Could I be paid for the lesson today?
Well, of course, Professor, certainly. Or Rochester.
Yes, boss? You call me?
Yes, of course, Professor. Rochester, in my bedroom, on the dresser, my money is there. Will it bring me $1.75?
Wait, Rochester, Monsieur Benet, now please, do not get excited.
Oh, what?
But the cost of living is so high, I must raise the price of the violin lesson.
But, Professor...
Look at me. I am in rags. Look, my shoes. The soles are worn out. I owe everybody money. I am overdrawn at the bank. I have borrowed on my insurance. Next week, my wife is expecting another baby. That will make 8 mouths to feed. Our rent is overdue. We are being dispossessed.
Professor! Well, of course I'll raise your salary. I'll raise your price. Rochester.
Yes, boss.
Rochester, you're crying.
Yes. Until he got to the wife and children, I thought he was talking about me.
Please hurry, Manchester. The lesson, she is done.
No. The lesson isn't over yet. Look at the clock. I got 14 seconds.
14 seconds. He cannot read a note, but time he can tell. Play the Vinyoski.
No, I'm playing the Brahms.
Play anything.
She is finished. I am liberated. Liberated. Free. I don't want a love
It went for 19 years.
19 years. And every week he came over to your house to give you a lesson.
Well, no, not exactly. I remember once he called me to tell me that he had broken his ankle and he couldn't come over, you see. So after he hung up, rather than miss my lesson, I went to his house.
Pierre! Pierre, I cannot understand you. There you sit with a broken ankle, and yet there is such a happy look on your face.
Oh, well, mon chéri, because of this broken ankle, I do not have to give Monsieur Benny a violin lesson. Who can that be?
I will see.
Oh, does Professor LeBlanc live here?
Oui, I am Mrs. LeBlanc.
Oh, well, I'm Jack Benny.
Please, my dear. Pierre, in the hall, it is Monsieur Benny.
Monsieur Benny? Well, what shall we do? What shall we do? Oh, I know. I will lie down in the cedar chest, and I will cross my arms. You light a candle and cry a little. Maybe he will believe it and go home.
No, Pierre, it is too drastic.
Oh, I suppose so. Well, let him in.
Oui. You may come in, Monsieur Benny.
Thank you. Oh, Professor, you know, when you called me and said you couldn't come over to my house, and I thought rather than miss my lesson, I'd come here.
I know.
How's your broken ankle?
It was a miserable failure. It was not worth it.
Well,
come on, let us proceed with the lesson. If you came here to take a lesson, get it over with.
okay. I'll get out my violin. There we are. Now, Professor, what were we doing the last time you gave me a lesson?
You were playing the Blue Danube, and I was picking up the dead flies.
I mean after that.
You were trying to play the number you were trying to learn for 10 years.
I know.
Wieniawski Concerto.
Well, do you want me to try that now?
We try Wieniawski Concerto. Suzette, aren't you going to kiss me goodbye?
I am not going out.
You will in a minute.
The concerto.
Concerto, Wieniawski Concerto.
Pierre! Vous lui apprenez à jouer du violon depuis 19 ans. Je ne l'ai entendu qu'une fois, mais il est le plus mauvais joueur que j'ai entendu dans toute ma vie.
Oui.
What did she say?
Well, it loses something in the translation, but it means you stink.
It sounded so good in French. Should I go on?
We continue.
I'll take it from the start again.
From the start, anything.
So anxious.
Suzette. The baby.
I know. Quiet, the girl, quiet.
Monsieur Benny, please, the baby.
Sacré bleu, Pierre, ne pouvez-vous pas faire quelque chose? Il rend le bébé fou.
Monsieur Benny, please, stop playing. The baby is crying. My wife is nervous. I have a broken ankle, and you stink. Please stop.
And that's the last lesson I ever took from him. I'm sorry, Doctor, that I couldn't be of any more help.
On the contrary, you've been a great help.
I have?
Yes. From what you've said, I'm sure his loss of memory is a subconscious effort to escape from reality. A reality in which he sees himself as a failure because of his inability to teach you to be a good violinist.
But that's ridiculous. I am a good violinist. I am... Professor LeBlanc, Professor, you must listen to me. You're not a failure. You're a success. I'm a fine violinist. I play Mozart, Beethoven, Mendelssohn. I'm telling you, you're not a failure.
Mr. Benny, you're just not getting through to him.
I know. Hey, I got an idea. Supposing I take his violin and prove to him that I'm a good violinist.
Yes, maybe if he hears you play well, the shock will bring him back to reality.
I didn't like the way you phrased it, but that's the idea. Professor, I'll play the Wieniawski concerto for you. You remember that one?
Oh, Monsieur Benny. Monsieur Benny. Oh, that is beautiful. That is beautiful, Monsieur Benny. Oh, Monsieur Benny. Excellent. That is beautiful. I am a success. I am not a failure. Professor LeBlanc is not a failure. Oh, I am not a failure. Suzette, de Gaulle, I am coming home. Alors, l'enfant de l'enfant.
Mr. Benny, you did a wonderful thing. You brought that man back to normal. It was a great favor you're coming here tonight.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Doctor. And now, you could do me a great favor.
What's that?
Well, during my long career as a comedian, I've made a lot of money getting laughs with my violin. So please, Doctor, don't tell anyone that I play that well.
Jack will be back in just a moment, but first...
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you all enjoyed the show. And I certainly want to thank the fellow who played the part of my violin teacher, one of the most versatile performers that I know, Mr. Mel Blanc. Mel, you were just wonderful today.
Well, thank you very much, Jack.
And you know, ladies and gentlemen, he's played so many characters, besides my violin teacher, so many characters going back over years, ever since the days of radio, you know. But, Mel, I want to ask you something. Now that you have played my violin teacher for so many years, what do you honestly think of my violin playing?
Sensational, boss. Sensational.
Good night, folks. I'll be seeing you soon.